We got to do something smooth. Like, we're already having the conversation, right?
I know what you mean. At the same time, I think I kind of like the little pre-podcast banter. But I think it works better when there's multiple people, I guess. If it's just like 2 people, it probably works better for like a cold event. We can give it a try. I've never done one, though, so...
Well, you're maybe be doing one right now.
Oh, you're right.
You see?
Wait.
It already started.
We don't even have to do an intro. This is just it.
Yeah. Guys, this is the Catching Zeez podcast, by the way.
Yeah, bro. We trying to cold open. Here we go.
I know.
This is just... This feels awkward.
Mountain Dew open with the podcast.
Yeah, I don't even have to introduce us because you already know who it is. If you look on screen, that's all you gotta do, bro. Crazy.
Heck yeah.
That was the cold open. Now we still have to transition.
Yeah. All right. Here's my first topic. Okay, I'm reacting to your King's Island tale from the last episode.
Right.
And I just need to. I'm just gonna. My only things I want to add is when you're describing Orion, you described over the shoulder restraints. Orion has lap bars, you fool. Remember the clamshells we kept talking about? How much we loved.
Yes. Okay, I do remember that. I was thinking of Banshee, again. I was thinking of Banshee like 2 different times. I don't know why. But yeah, I recall it. I remember like when I was listening back to it, I was like, oh, that's not right. But whatever. I don't, it's fine.
Oh, and then, and then you were also talking like about, hey, you know, there was all these characters out. And I think like, I mentioned it to you like multiple times to you guys like throughout the trip. I'm like, I don't think there's gonna be a lot because there's the rain in the forecast. And there wasn't. We only had like 2. I think there was literally just the 2 over by Beast and stuff. The reason there was a lack of it because again it was wet, right? It was gonna rain.
Yeah. We were
Even
there when it was.
The Eiffel Tower is mentioning it, right? Trust me, there would be like if we went on like a dry night, there would be so much more. Like when me and Emmy were at Six Flags, I mean the number of characters everywhere, right? Which, sorry you missed out on that, y'all.
I guess that's true. I guess I had nothing to compare it to because I saw some from like a distance, right? Like I saw only a couple up close, but like I saw more from a distance. Like when we were waiting in line for a haunted house, we saw a few of them pass by.
Right, but those were like
even then,
kind of I don't know. Maybe those were part of the haunt, sort of.
I thought there were characters like getting ready to like go wander, but yeah.
I'm gonna compliment you. All right, round of applause. Cool. You got every name correct, by the way. Like when talking about the coasters.
Let's go.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we're crazy. The one that I thought I was the most incorrect with was the Diamondback one, because I wasn't sure. I knew it was Diamond something, but it was Diamondback. I just called it Snake Moment most of the time.
Diamond Stack moment.
Diamond Stack. Otherwise, yeah, it was a good trip.
No, it was awesome.
Did you have anything else that you wanted to add? Because you were like our party leader going into that. So just to wrap up that tale.
I'm really glad that I wasn't almost on the show because I liked hearing your opinion without my outside influence. I think because it highlights as to what you really remembered and experienced. I'm actually surprised you didn't really go into as much detail about like the view of the Eiffel Tower and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't talk about that. Yeah, so I guess at King's Island they have like a mini Eiffel Tower that goes up 300 feet, was it?
Yeah, it's the 3rd scale of the real one. Oh no, we actually went to Paris, guys. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well, here's what I thought was really cool. When we were up there, they told us a fun fact. They actually stole the Eiffel Tower from Paris and put it in King's Island.
Dude, it's like Despicable Me.
Yeah, except they shrunk it with his shrink ray. Yeah, no, it was pretty crazy, honestly, getting to hear the lore behind them sealing it, and then Gru was there. Mm-hmm. I saw a couple of his little corn pellet mine-ons. Otherwise, no, the view from up in this Eiffel Tower was actually so pretty. It was kind of slippery, a little cold while we were up there, but it was really, really beautiful. I actually got some cool shots. I'll see if I can like play a couple here if you're looking at the actual video. I know most people just listen to the audio, but whatever. If you are looking at it visually, take a look on the screen right now. You'll see some epic shots of when we were up there. It was really beautiful. We also tried to get up there at night, but we missed out on it. And I feel like the night view would have been so gorgeous to see, like all the beautiful lights and fog, and it was just so beautiful. I really wish we got to go up there at night, but we didn't.
Yeah, there's not many other parks that have that kind of centerpiece that's sort of like that. King's Dominion, which is the other Taft Broadcasting King's Park, quote unquote, has an Eiffel Tower exactly like King's Island's as well. And then there's a couple other like Magic Mountain and over Texas with oil rigs that you can go up on, which are basically like the Eiffel Tower, but just freestanding huge structures that you can climb so high up. It's so
Doesn't
cool.
Cedar Point have like those 2 lanes or whatever that have like a bunch of like little transportation umbrella type thing. I forget what they're called.
Yeah. The sky ride, but with those they're only like 60 feet tall.
Oh, I don't. Okay, I haven't been there in so long. I just remember it being really cool because I was there at nighttime and I was like, "Whoa, look at the view! It's so cool." I guess you're up like somewhat high.
Oh, yeah, I mean it's amazing, absolutely on that ride too. But again, Kings Island is so well. I mean, just the fact that it's so dead center with the spoke and wheel design, right?
Yeah.
And everything you walk around, it's just a different view on each side, and there's so much detail, and it also added so much that it was fall, you know?
Oh yeah, it was so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, I'm glad that you talked about it on the solo cast because I would barge in way too much with specifics.
No, I mean at the same time, I do like hearing about the coaster lore and whatnot. Even though a lot of it probably does go over my head, like in the moment, it's like actually just so fascinating. And there are some smaller things that I probably remember, but not all the details.
Right.
But since we're talking about coasters and whatnot, you have this Cedar Fair merger topic here.
Yeah. I'll try to be really brief with this. So the two leading businesses for regional theme parks are Cedar Fair Entertainment and Six Flags, right? So everyone's heard of Six Flags. It's very recognizable. Cedar Fair, not as quite recognizable. Actually, the amusement parks I've been with you, Zeez, at is Michigan Adventures and Kings Island, which are both Cedar Fair parks. And you just mentioned Cedar Point, which is obviously a Cedar Fair park. Right. An example is if the park has Snoopy theming. Other large ones are Carowinds, Canada's Wonderland, Knott's Berry Farm, to name a few that other viewers might know of. But everyone knows Six Flags, and essentially those two companies merged together recently. And it's probably the biggest theme park news to come out easily within the last 5-10 years, if not maybe ever. I mean, this is such a huge deal. To put it in perspective, I believe it's like they're combined. Like I believe it's like Cedar Fair has 22 million in attendance, and Six Flags has 24 million. Now they have 46 million in attendance, and there's all these stats behind it. But a lot of people are really concerned about this merger because oftentimes when companies merge, you have lack of competition, and so your need for investment is not as great. And also, a lot of people in the amusement park industry do not, at least in the not amusement park industry, coaster enthusiasts are not the biggest fan of Six Flags. A lot of their parks in general tend to struggle a lot more than Cedar Fair parks. Cedar Fair is bringing a lot of really struggling parks to the chain, and they're hoping to hold it back. There are some reasons why Cedar Fair wanted to do this merger, though. They are the majority owner, and another issue people have is that you've been to Cedar Point or Kings Island, something that I don't know if you've ever been to a Six Flags park, Zeez, but
I have not.
They really integrate IPs terribly. Everything's like Superman or Batman the Ride or the Joker, right? And it's really, really tacky.
Okay.
Could you imagine a really tacky Joker at Kings Island, a park that I would say it's not it's not super high class, but it's a park that it has really well presentation and has original themes and IPs to all of its major attractions. That you just have this tacky IP integration that would feel really out of place, right?
Yeah, right. I think I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I mean, people are worried about the IP is coming to the Cedar Fair parks and all this kind of stuff, and it is going to be really awkward if they do come. I really have a lot of mixed feelings about it, and again, I'm not going to try to talk about it for too long. But one of the reasons what I think was really interesting about it was that Cedar Fair really did this because one of the big things Cedar Fair wanted forever was a Texas park, which they never had. Six Flags has Six Flags Fiesta Texas and Six Flags Over Texas, which, again, Texas is huge because A, year-round operations, and B, fastest growing area in America, right?
Okay.
So those are huge, right? So it's properties that they can run 365 days a year in a fast-growing area. The only other 365 park they have is Knott's Berry Farm. Six Flags had a bunch. They had the two Texas parks. They had Magic Mountain, Six Flags Mexico, I believe over Georgia. So now they have a bunch of other parks they can operate over year-round. Cedar Fair tried to push it in other parks and it failed miserably. But the good thing about those 365 parks is it makes up for deficit when the other parks are closed, right? Because that's just lost revenue. Obviously, they adjust for that, or they plan for that. But the biggest thing, too, is now that they have a greater presence in the South, Cedar Fair gets hit really hard. So, our weekend when we went to Kings Island, right? Remember, it was really raining. On a Hollow weekend, if there's rain for the entire day, that Sunday, the next day after we went, like they just lost all that profit for that day, right? And that's a huge financial hit for Cedar Point and Kings Island when it's raining that much, right?
I didn't even consider it yet. Yeah, that makes sense.
If they have parks in the south that aren't affected by this weather, hey, those are people coming in for those haunt events that aren't affected. It's 2 more people who are making up for that deficit of lost revenue, stuff like that. So I understand kind of why this merger is happening. It benefits both parties involved, mostly because Six Flags is struggling and Cedar Fair. Well, they're both in major debt because they're amusement parks. But
so you're saying it's a merger. So are they? How does it? Is it like the people who are like in charge of Six Flags, are they like the ones on top? Like they're all becoming the parent company of like Six Flags, or is Six Flags becoming the parent company of the Cedar Fair or whatever?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so Cedar Fair is the majority owner, and their CEO is the CEO of the company. Now the company is rebranding fully to Six Flags for name recognition alone. That means that Cedar Point coming in 2 years, really, I think 25 is the official year the merger will fully integrate, will be a Six Flags park. Now, it won't be Six Flags Ohio. A lot of their major parks, they've already said this, like a lot of their major parks, like Canada's Wonderland, Kings Island, Cedar Point, they have such a name recognition within themselves, they don't need the Six Flags branding, so they won't.
Okay, so I was going to say they're not going to change. They're not going to change the name of the parks. That would have been like a bit much, I feel.
Yes, it would have. It would have been horrible, and they know that, right? But like maybe something like Michigan Adventure or maybe Valley Fair. I don't know. There are other smaller parks. If it was like a Six Flags Minneapolis, right? Maybe that would be like, oh well, that's a little bit more like, hey, there's a Six Flags in this area. We can come and visit. A lot of people, like when they look for their local amusement park, they'll look up they'll just go on Google and they'll look up Six Flags Ohio, which is not a thing that exists, or Six Flags Illinois, right? Which, I mean, there is one in Illinois, but you know what I mean? Like they don't know the names of specific parks. People will literally just like search up for parks. They'll just look up Six Flags area, right?
Gotcha.
Without knowing if it's in the area or not, because there's just that strong of a name recognition. So maybe it'll help with the smaller ones. But yeah, no, I mean that's pretty much it. I don't have a ton of huge thoughts. I won't go into more detail about it, but yeah, that's just in my world, in my nerdy theme park world. That's the big thing at the moment.
No, that definitely seems huge because like I guess we're both into like kind of animation. I feel like I can almost compare it as like what if like Illumination and DreamWorks like combine? Is it something like
that would
like
exactly be it?
Yeah, like 2 very big companies. But yeah, I totally get like the concern due to the lack of like having like variety and whatnot, and have it all be like monopolized by a single company now. Definitely makes things a little scary, like less competition and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, besides that, it's like there's Disney, there's Six Flags, the Cedar Fair. Like what else is there really? That's like the big ones.
The reason I think they're avoiding the monopoly rule, because there's laws against monopolies in the United States. I think the legal foothold they have in that is there are still quite a bit of operating park companies outside of them. So there's Hershend, which runs Silver City, Dollywood, and a few other smaller parks. There's the Busch SeaWorld parks. So Busch Entertainment owns the 2 Busch Gardens parks and the 3 SeaWorld parks in America. Obviously, Disney and Universal are the major. Those are the destination, the big boy players, but they don't own a lot of property, right?
Are there any solo like parks that are just completely isolated, just like one park, that's it?
Yeah. So Hershey, the chocolate company, owns only Hershey Park. For a long time, Holiday World was technically still family owned and independently operated. However, I believe they own Alabama Splash Adventure as well, which is a much smaller park. I believe they recently acquired it within the last couple of years, I believe. So they technically own multiple parks and now are a company. The gentleman who runs Indiana Beach has 3 parks. I believe one at Niagara. I can't remember the name of it. Clementon Park in New Jersey, and then Indiana Beach, obviously, in Indiana. So that's another smaller one. And then the other argument that can be made is that nearly every like moderate-sized town is a family entertainment center. So like think like your putt-putt golf, right, or your go-kart track, or the places like in Indiana, as an example, we have a lot of Malibu Jacks that are opening. Those are indoor theme parks, which are family entertainment centers. Like they're really small; they're built into malls and stuff. So that also counts as technical competition that's everywhere. So yeah, I mean, in my opinion, it is a little egregious how much of the they basically entirely own domestic theme parks now, which is what's interesting. Outside of really Busch SeaWorld, which is our pseudo destination parks. Same with Hershey. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know. Moving forward, it's gonna be a weird time. But the thing is that to look forward to though is a lot of people are concerned about lack of capital investment. There is one truth behind amusement parks, which is that and amusement parks really aren't fully about competition with another park as much as they are maintaining their fan base, right? So people need to continuously come back, and the only way that they're convinced to come back is if there's new additions. So there is always an incentive to continuously
for new videos. It's just like YouTube, bro. I'm sorry.
yes, exactly like YouTube. Yeah, like people aren't going to come back and watch the same videos over and over again. They're looking for the newest stuff. So I wouldn't say exactly like YouTube because obviously, I don't know. Like
I just made a loose. I just made like a joking comparison, but I get this. Sure, there is like some loose similarities there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of YouTube, to jump over to you, I saw your Identity 5 stream, and it did pretty well.
Yeah, that's right. So I decided on Thursdays, every single Thursday, I'm going to do like a stream on the Identity 5 channel. And I tried one out for the very first time this last Thursday, and it went pretty well. Yeah, I got 100 viewers. I think it capped at 123 actually, which was pretty cool. Like the most concurrent people watching, and it was pretty good. We had like a really nice turnout. The chat was pretty active, and it was only like I think like a 2.5 hour stream or something. And overall, it was just a really fun time. I was actually pretty concerned when I was doing it because I didn't think like many people would show up. It actually did start off pretty slow. There weren't many people in for like the first 20 minutes, but after like I want to say like an hour, it started picking up like a lot, getting up in like the hundreds. But I think like I was sitting around 10 to 30 viewers for like the first 20 to 30 minutes, or at least it kind of felt like that. But it also had a bit of a slow start, so I don't know. Either way, I was just pretty happy with the turnout. So I'm probably gonna make that like a weekly thing and maybe turn on Super Chat. I forgot to turn on Super Chat, so there were no donations or anything. But I'm not gonna like only do it for donations or anything. But I'm just kind of curious, like if there is gonna be donations, I should probably turn that on because I didn't have it on because I didn't realize I had it off.
Dude, you
since I just started monetization
on it. And the thing
is,
yeah, I'm sorry for talking over there. The thing is that blew my mind was like not only were you at 100 viewers, but like even after I sent like I was like, yo, you're at 100 viewers. I saw like multiple times it was like 120, 125. Like it was like consistent for like a long time. And I don't really know much about streaming. Isn't 100 viewers like that's pretty good? Like it's like moderate sized stream, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good. For comparison, I guess on my Zeez G2, I mean the day the Owl House ended, I had 1,000 viewers, which that's like peak popularity. But I did do a like a tier list, like I want to say like a month and a half ago for the Owl House, and that was around 250. But that's also with like almost 100,000 subscribers on that channel, and with a channel with only like 3,000 subscribers going on 4,000. Having 120 viewers peak is pretty freaking good. On my gaming channel, I'm lucky to get 10 viewers. I usually sit around like 8-ish. It sometimes depends on the game that I'm playing. If I'm playing like Smash Bros, I'll get a lot more since people can play with me. But if it's like just I'm playing like a game that's just a story-based game, I usually only get like around, averaging like 6 to 8, which is fine. There's a place for low chat, or I guess like low amount of people, because at the same time I just have a lot of fun just playing those games, and I feel like with a smaller chat it's also a little bit more easy to focus on the game because there's not a lot of activity. I guess it really just depends, but no, I was just happy with the turnout to that stream, so that's definitely gonna be like a weekly thing.
Yeah, the VOD has 2.2 thousand views. I don't know if that's just people who watched it afterwards or people who are watching it during it. How does that work again?
Yeah, so it factors in both, but once you finish the stream, it'll tell you how many people like viewed it, like even if it's just like for a minute or whatever. And I want to say I think it was like 750. So within that 2.5 hour period, like 750 people clicked on the stream live and then like clicked off or whatever. So that's pretty good, honestly. But that also is first stream, and typically people's first streams do really well because it's like a new thing, and like progressively streams get like less and less views. So If I stream again on that channel and there's less views, like a less smaller turnout, I wouldn't be surprised. But you know, having like the first stream of a channel is like a special kind of thing. Like when I had my first stream on my gaming channel, I think I had like 20 viewers, even though I was just like doing nothing. But it's just because it was the first one, right? Same with Zeez G3. I think I almost had 30 viewers on that one, even though I've only done 2 streams on that channel.
So with the VOD count being 2.2K and only 750, so that means, I mean, 1,500 people went and watched it after.
Yeah. And another thing is,
I don't even know how. I never get recommended like VODs from streams, so I don't even know how they saw it.
Yeah, it shows up in your sub box. I mean, I guess if you're like subscribed to a ton of channels, you wouldn't really see it, but it does show up in the sub box. Some people get notified for it. Like just with the bell and whatnot. I get notified for streams sometimes, and
yeah, and if you click on that notice, it'll send you to the VOD if they finished.
Yeah, it doesn't really show up on the YouTube homepage very often, though. I want to say it's pretty rare unless it's like somebody that you religiously watch, right?
Right.
If you like, there's some Fire Emblem creators that I watch like a lot, so I'll get their live streams popping up. But if it's like somebody I don't really watch too often, I've seen like one person stream, I think like 7 days a week, and I didn't get a single stream in my recommended, but I would get it in my like sub box or my notifications. It's just interesting YouTube stuff. They're not as likely to promote the live streams as they are when they're finished. They'll push it while they're live, but when it's over, they don't really push it to the homepage unless you watch that creator a lot, or so I've noticed.
Right, and I guess continue through with your Identity 5 channel. Do you think that it's starting to plateau, or do you think there's still growth happening? The reason I ask, and the reason I say this, obviously I remember, whenever big events happen, like when that new Monster came out, you got 12,000 views, or Hunter, right? Sorry, not Monster. Do you think that it's sort of like you kind of reached the peak of what you can get from that kind of content, or do you think it's still growing?
Depends. I do have like a ton of video ideas. It's a very like fresh thing. So yeah. I still have like a lot of different ideas that I can go into. But at the moment, it's still like on a steady growth. I did have like a big, I want to say like a peak, like when that new Hunter was like just being revealed, like that there was like a bit of a peak there. And it slowed down a little bit, but it's still growing, right? And it hasn't really plateaued, I want to say. Like, I'm getting consistent views. Subscribers are going up by, like, I think 75 per day or something like that, which is pretty good. But I think I'm going to reach a point, like, once I get to, like, 5,000, I think it's going to, like, start slowing down a lot. Which is fine. That's completely fine. And I don't know. It's just been a fun channel to work on. It has a pretty fun community. I'm learning a lot of new things. And it's just been pretty enjoyable. I don't know. I'm glad I started it, I guess. It was definitely not a bad decision to start the channel, I don't think. My
biggest thing that you kind of told me was the time it takes to make one of those videos compared to any of your other channels, right? So thinking about it from like a business perspective, at least like it's guaranteed to get good views, and it doesn't take you very much effort, and it's good like backlog pay,
And the thing is, like, the once the video is out for like 2 to 3 days, it definitely decreases a ton in views. But there still is like a small residual like trickle among all the views. Like if I click on any video that is posted on that channel, like within the last 48 hours, it's guaranteed to at least have like 20 to 30 views, which is like, that's not a lot. But consider that over a bunch of different videos. Like I think there's 50 videos on that channel so far. So like, 50 times 30, that's, I don't know, a lot. 1,000 freaking 500. That's like $4, $6. That's just worth of views just by like old content. It's not a lot, but like that's just something. That's like a bonus $6 a day for not if I just from backlog content. It's not a lot again, but the channel just started, so that number will only continue to rise if I post consistently.
Speaking of backlog content, when are you gonna make the tutorial videos for that dang game? That's where you can see the views, man.
The thing is, I'm not good enough at the game to like really do that just yet. I have a lot
really good. I mean, like, obviously I'm an outsider, but it seems like you really picked up to be really good at this game quickly.
I don't know. I posted a video that was like 30 minutes long, where the video doesn't end until I win, and it's 30 minutes long, so it took a while to win. But I don't know. I think I like got the basics really down fast. What I'm trying to do now is just like learn the more like character focused things, because like the basics are pretty simple. But now there's like, with each character having different abilities, like making the most out of those characters and learning all the characters takes a lot of time, actually, because there's just very small specific things that you have to learn, like character run speed when doing certain action, what characters can do certain actions at current times, and what is riskier for certain characters to go with or to do certain things. It is a whole meta, and it takes forever to learn, but you know, it's like, I describe it as Smash, whereas how I learned when I played like competitive Smash Bros. You just keep playing and you just learn these things. Like, it's just, you just pick these things up with experience. So the more you play the game, obviously the more you learn. It's just like with any game or with any skill, the more you do it, the better you get at it. So the thing is, like, what I lack is experience. Like, I know things on text, I just lack experience in the game because I've only been playing for like 2.5 months. Whereas most of these players have been playing for a long period of time. Like, you know, some people have been playing since 2018, so they have like a 5-year experience on me.
Definitely. I mean, I'm thinking back through like videos I've seen before. Like, for instance, you brought up Smash. Like, aren't a lot of the biggest Smash videos tutorial videos too? And in addition, like, I'm thinking like the TF2. Like, there was like the how to Pyro, how to like engineer series, and those are like all huge and millions upon millions of views.
Yeah, I think the thing about Smash Bros is that those how-to videos, they actually do have a lifespan, because Smash Bros is more of a series, whereas this Identity 5 game is like, it's like a consistent ongoing thing, kind of like what you said with Fortnite. But whereas with Fortnite, like, every character is the same.
Warcraft,
right?
Or whatever.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, with Fortnite, every character is the same, right? All your skins only chase cosmetics, whereas in Identity 5, there's like 60 different characters, and they all have different abilities and like ways they interact with like the maps and other characters. So that's why it's like really interesting to learn all of them, especially since they keep releasing new characters that can interact with like the old characters and whatnot. It's really cool how they expand on stuff, and you know, I really enjoy that part of the game, which is why like the tutorial videos actually do so well, whereas like a Fortnite tutorial would just be like, I don't know, how to crank 90s. I don't know, man, I don't play Fortnite. But like with Smash Bros, it's a series, so like think about all the tutorials made for the previous Smash game. They're not going to get any more views, right? Like, for example, Smash 4 is the most previous game in the series. Smash 4 for Wii U. Whereas Smash Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch, like, people watch tutorials for that now, right? But not a single person is watching stuff for Smash 4. Nobody's watching anything for Brawl. So, like, once the new Smash game comes out...
Unless you get some, like, pseudo-weird, like, Melee thing, there's still, like, popularity with it.
Yeah, unless it's Melee, but, like, Melee is just... Melee is an outlier, I would say. It's definitely an outlier among that kind of stuff. But, you know, also the Smash... like competitive scene is like slowly getting smaller and smaller. Like, it's getting smaller by the day. That's just the truth of it. With like
because of Nintendo.
Well, because of Nintendo, and also just like waning interest in the game, right? Like, without any new hype DLC characters, no new content coming from the game, it's just gonna slowly have like a trickle down. I mean, you can even say that I've kind of fallen off the game. Like, I still play it here and there. I still have fun with it, but like, I'm nowhere near like as good as I used to be like a year ago. Like, a year ago, I was like much better. I had like a lot more practice, but I just haven't really been playing it. I've been focused on other games, and that's just kind of the thing. Like, new games come out, you focus on the older ones less. So unless you have like a game like Identity 5 that is constantly producing new content and like updates for characters and ways to interact with things, it's like, that's why those tutorial videos, I feel like, do better in the long run for that game. Like, until the game inevitably dies, right? Like, until they like just pull the plug on the game, like, those tutorial videos will actually just shoot down. But as they're continuously releasing new content, like, there's no reason for those tutorial videos to do bad, because they're always going to be there. They're always going to be like the core of the characters, unless the character gets reworked, which rarely happens. Yeah,
no, that makes total sense. Moving through there, though, I keep talking so much about the topics that I have listed. You have 3 that we haven't touched 1.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I guess since we're talking about gaming stuff, we can transition into the actually just announced, as of recording this, we're recording this on the 7th, this was just announced like a couple hours ago, they are making a live-action Zelda movie, which I was actually quite surprised when I heard it was live-action and not animated, considering they had, you know, the Super Mario Bros. Movie that came out
right, I was about to ask, yeah, I mean, is it going to be like the same large scale as the Super Mario Bros. Movie?
We don't really know too much. Again, this did just get announced like 2-3 hours ago at the time of recording, so there's not too much information out there. We know that Mr. Miyamoto, who's like a really big guy at Nintendo, he worked on Mario, he worked on Zelda, lots of other games. Pikmin 4 is like I think the most biggest game he's worked on recently, and he's being like heavily involved with this project, similarly to the Super Mario Bros. Movie. And I guess like the biggest thing that I was just shocked at is like, why is it live action? Because I guess live action worked better for Zelda as opposed for Mario. Because they did try to do the live action. They tried to do live action Mario in the past, and it was disgusting. But
that was amazing.
Yeah, no, actually, it was the greatest thing of all time. The Goomba, bro. But no, like all the characters in the main characters in Zelda, they're humans, right? You have Link, Zelda, Ganondorf. Those are like the main big three characters.
Not only that, but they're kind of detailed. You know, like Link looks kind of like a human. You know, he has human-like hair, all that kind of stuff. Like
a random thing you could compare it to, like if I feel like the movie is gonna feel like Lord of the Rings or something, because like Lord of the Rings kind of has like that same sort of like fantasy, magic, swords, whatnot, that same kind of like vibe, right? So I feel like when I think of a live action Zelda, I picture like Lord of the Rings type movie, like that type of style. But I think I'm really just curious like how they're going to implement some of the characters, mainly Link, because Link is I don't know how much you know about him, but he doesn't really speak. He just goes hya hya hya, attack with sword, and there is like lore behind it, but it's just like it's gonna feel weird to have a main character Link as a live action person. Like it's definitely gonna be memed on no matter who it is, whatever celebrity like freaking actor they get, it's gonna be memed just like Chris Pratt. Probably not as much, but it's gonna be memed. Honestly, I think I have more doubts knowing that it's not going to be animated, because the Super Mario Bros. Movie, at least it was animated, right? So it's like, okay, at least it's going to be cute. It's like we're going to see like Mario run around. Even if it's got like some cringy plot, at least it's just going to be fun, right? But like this could be bad. I don't know. I'm a lot more skeptical of the live action Zelda than I am the Mario movie.
I think there's live action films that can be really kind of cartoony to an extent and pretty fun. Like thinking like Speed. I don't know if you ever watched like Speed Racer. Not ever like that extreme, because that would be way over the top even for Zelda's sake. But like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like, hey, after, especially given that Miyamoto-san, like, you know, he's in the production for this too. It's really interesting. That you brought that up. I mean, obviously, I'm not the hugest Nintendo fan, as we were talking before the show about. So yeah, this is the first I've heard of it, and I think that's really like cool. Given how big the Super Mario movie was, I can't even imagine how big this is also going to be. So,
oh yeah, I mean Zelda's their second biggest franchise, so it's definitely not going to get as much traction as Mario will, but like it's still going to be pretty big. And another thing that I thought was pretty weird, I forget exactly where I heard it, but allegedly, maybe not so much allegedly, I think it's confirmed, but like I didn't really look into it too much, so I had to fact check. But I think the producer of Morbius is working on the film, like as a producer or something. That's so funny. When I heard about that, I was like, that's not a thing. That can't be a thing. I think there's also like the Maze Runner, like who worked on the Maze Runner and whatnot, is also in there. I don't know if it's the same guy. But people are a little skeptical about that, to say the least. Like Morbius, well, if it's the Morbius, funny meme.
Well, if it's Morbius, is Link gonna say, "I'm gonna Zelda"?
I love it when he linked everywhere, dude. That was the best part. When he Triforced everywhere. I'm linking up, bro. This is the greatest Link. Link to the future, Link to the past. I don't know, bro. I think like the best way that they can do this is just like go the Ocarina of Time route. I don't know if you've played that game, but it's basically like
I did not.
It's like young Link, he picks up the sword, then he turns into adult Link and he fights Ganondorf and he saves Zelda. That's basically the plot. It's simple down. He gets stuff from temples. I just don't know how they're gonna implement like the gameplay into like the movie, and like how accurate would it be? I don't know. It's gonna be really interesting. They've only announced that. I think they've only just started working on the film, so it's probably not something that we're gonna see at minimum for like another 2 to 3 years. But knowing Nintendo, it's gonna be like 4 to 6 years, because I think the Mario movie was announced like a long time ago and only came out this year. Like I want to say it was announced back in 2016 or something. And that's a pretty long turnaround time. But, you know, it's Nintendo, so they want to make sure these movies are, well, good. But this is also live action, so I feel like live action takes a lot less time. I don't know. I don't really know what it's going to look like.
Well, I was about to say, I think that they're having live action, they're going to run into an issue with time, which is that it's going to take maybe more time, because the big limitation of live action films is that you need physical sets for every shot, right? I mean,
That's
obviously
right.
CGI is a huge influence in that, right? But even then, I mean, every single like scene to go from scene to scene is going to still have physical green screens and different like setups behind each of the shots. Zelda, I mean, is an adventure game where you go through many sets, right? I mean, obviously they're probably not going to be as detailed as the video games. So like that's one of the weird things about live action is like a limitation is that it's just the number of sets you need to make. Whereas animation, you can go into as many crazy places as you want because it takes so much less overhead to like set up that shot or like that world.
Right.
There's way less limitations. But it's going to have probably an insane budget because the Mario movie was so successful and it's such a huge franchise, so who knows?
Oh, yeah. Nah, it's definitely interesting. To transition once again, this is more of like a smaller topic, but another Nintendo-based thing that I've been consuming recently is the official Kirby mangas, or I guess they're official. I don't know. You can buy them literally at Barnes & Noble, and they're absolutely so funny. I think maybe it was either on a stream or on a podcast, but I briefly talked about it where I was reading the first book, but I've read 3 out of the 5 that I own right now, and it is so funny because Kirby in his games is just like a lovable, wholesome little puff ball that's all about friendship and whatnot, whereas in the manga, he's like an absolute menace to society, and he's like constantly pulling pranks and being such a jokester, and he also talks. It's like really weird. It definitely doesn't really take much. Yeah, he talks. It doesn't really take much lore from the game. It kind of just does its own thing, but it uses like the characters from the games. It's like, I don't really know how to explain it, but it's basically like an alternate world where Kirby talks and he's a menace, but he also... That's actually about it. Yeah, he just is a menace. I don't know why. He's like supposed to be the hero, but he never does anything. King Dedede, which is like one of the other major characters from Kirby, he's always the one at the butt end of his jokes. And it's literally just a gag manga. It's just a gag manga where it's just Kirby being a menace, and he ends up doing horrible things, and then everybody forgives him because he's Kirby. And it's just like, this is not accurate to the games at all. However, it is very funny to see these characters being really, really stupid. And I love it. It's a really good time, and I think everybody should read the Kirby manga if they're a Kirby fan, because it's stupid and it's fun, and Kirby, literally, like, you have to read the manga to like just see Kirby as a menace. It's literally so funny because of how out of place he is compared to his games. I love it. It's just so stupid.
You know, there's a Kirby anime, and I actually did see some episodes of the Kirby anime, fun fact.
Oh, bro, don't even get me started.
Is the Kirby manga, that's not based off the Kirby manga, is it?
No, the Kirby manga and the Kirby anime, they're 100% separate. They have like barely, like the only thing they have in common is like the characters, but like even their personalities.
Yeah, I think Kirby's in both of them, right?
Well, you know, now that you say that, nah, the Kirby anime is, oh man, I could go on for hours. I've literally rewatched that so many times. It actually is. It's funny. It has exactly 100 episodes, and most of them are just so good. There are a few of them that are just duds, but like most of them are so good. And the 4Kids adaptation, I genuinely think, is better than the Japanese version, because the Japanese version literally uses, at least like I should say the music is better because they actually have original composition in the 4Kids version, and some of those tracks are like absolute bangers, whereas in the Japanese version of the anime, they just use like remixed game tracks, which is like, you know, it's cool, but like the 4Kids gave the show its own thing, right? They gave it like it's a cool theme song. Everybody knows a theme song from it. They gave it a really awesome soundtrack, and like the motifs that appear, like every character has their own theme, and when there's like multiple characters a theme, they'll like mix their motifs together. For example, Kirby has like drums. His motif is like he has like a lot of drums in his songs. It kind of just feels like you're marching to like the beat or something. Whereas King Dedede, there's like a lot of low brass instruments, and whenever they're on screen together, it's so funny because those instruments clash. It almost feels like, you know how like Tom and Jerry integrates music like super well. Into their like shows and whatnot, right, for their physical comedy. I would say it's like kind of similar to that. Maybe not on the level of Tom and Jerry, but it really like adds that in there, and it's really something that I appreciate, whereas that's completely missing in the Japanese version. So I definitely think if you're gonna watch that show, like, you definitely want to watch the 4Kids dub. Even though some of the dubs are pretty cringe, the voices are iconic and the music is so freaking godlike. I
was actually watching when I watched the Kirby anime, it was with Crimson, and I was watching it like from a kind of like trying to like ironic standpoint. I don't remember a ton of it, but I believe it was the 4Kids dub, and we were kind of making fun of a lot of the voices. And
no, half the fun of it is literally making fun of it. Yeah. Like a lot of 4Kids content is in a weird limbo from being like so bad that it's good, but like actually so peak that it's like better than the original. I don't know how to describe it. 4Kids is truly like so
you're
weird.
a big fan of the 4Kids One Piece?
Honestly, 4Kids One Piece is so funny, dude. Like it's so bad, but it's so good. Like there's this iconic freaking line. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like a meme where it's just like Zoro walks up to Luffy, just goes, "Hey, Luffy, how's it going, buddy?" And then Luffy charges it at him, saying, "Save it!" And then he just screams, "Luffy!" at like the top of his lungs.
Luffy, it's good to see you, buddy. Luffy!
And it like happens so fast, and it's so funny. There's so many moments from 4Kids that are just so absolutely stupid, but they're so funny. Sorry, that's my 4Kids rant for the day. 4Kids is so fun. I should definitely make like a video about like just 4Kids content.
Everyone. That's official.
I genuinely wish 4Kids would come back.
I like your take about it because, like, you know, usually when you look online on 4Kids, it's like people just bash on it because it's funny to bash on, right? It's like it's the bad media company, they censored everything. But no, I guess, you know, do you like 4Kids? Like you were kind of talking about like, the Kirby manga or the Kirby anime. You're like unironically kind of appreciating the composition, but like. This one, you kind of are ironically making fun of it. So is it like so bad it's good, or do you actually legitimately think their dubs are good?
Okay, the dubs are like funny, but they're not good. That's what I can say for like the voice acting. But the way that they like edit the show, at least like I'm mostly familiar with like the Kirby, but I know One Piece and a little bit of the Sonic as well. And you know, some of the voices, they're bad, but they're iconic. And like when I hear the voices for these characters, even though they're bad, it's like I can't unhear it, right? Like, have you heard King Dedede's voice, the King Penguin from Kirby?
Oh my god!
You know his like redneck. Okay, he has like a redneck voice, and it's like
I'm trying to remember. I think I remember it. I'm not gonna attempt it.
No, I'm not gonna attempt it either. I'll embarrass myself. But like, when I think of like King Dedede, like that is the voice that I hear, and it's like. Why is that the voice that I hear? It shouldn't be a thing, right? Because like in the Japanese version, he just has like a completely different voice. It's just like kind of like a deep, sort of like schemy, I don't know, sort of voice.
Yeah, I remember. Isn't Dedede's voice like really nasally, like almost like a Gilbert Gottfried kind of voice?
Nah, not necessarily. Maybe in Japanese a little more like, but definitely not like Gilbert Gottfried here. But I would say like he just sounds like a redneck. I guess he just sounds like a redneck kind of.
Oh,
I guess.
Yeah, okay. Now I'm remembering. Yeah.
And he's just like, it's such an iconic voice, but it's like it's not like it's bad, but it's so good. I don't know. I really appreciate.
What if he was just a redneck?
It's literally it. And like for some reason, Meta Knight was just like the mysterious soldier from Kirby.
Yes, yeah.
He has a Spanish accent. He just does because like, oh, he's mysterious, so I need a Spanish accent. And every time he says yes, he says chess. It's not like he's saying chess.
Chess.
I don't know, chess. And he says it all the time. It's like, oh man, what do you know about Kirby? It's like chess. I know a lot about Kirby. And it's like, oh my, it's so bad, but it's like, I can't unhear these voices. Like every time I picture, if a Kirby character were to talk, it would have to be in that voice now. Even though they're so bad. Ugh. That's honestly the type of voice acting that I do for like my Let's Plays and whatnot. It's all just 4Kids tier acting. Like I just think of like some of the stupid voices that I hear from 4Kids, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna use that voice.
They're easy
to replicate as well.
Obviously, 4Kids is gone now, but still, you should remake 4Kids for like, you know, people have like parody dubs for the 4Kids memes. Just edit your whole own 4Kids like version where you're just adding random accents to characters that absolutely do not match that accent.
No, yeah, dude, I would love to do something like that. It's like that live dubbing thing. We actually talked about that. Was this? I don't know if this is on our off podcast, but I think the little rookie mentioned it. Doing like a dubbing anime clips or just like, you know, anything outside, like dubbing video game clips or dubbing cartoon clips. That would be so fun. Especially since we're not voice actors and like we could just do like really, really stupid stuff. You know, I've seen like some people that are like voice actors do it, and it's like, yeah, they're funny, but I almost feel like it would be funnier for people who don't know how to voice act because they would just be like screaming and making like actually like horrible voices. I think it'd be stupidly fun.
Oh, that does sound pretty fun. I feel like that wouldn't be a podcast thing. That would be like a separate video because you need to have visuals,
No, yeah,
right?
that would definitely be its own video. I would have to figure out how to do it and like sync it up because I don't really know how. Like it would probably like Discord delay. I don't know. We'd find a way. It would definitely be really, really stupid and fun.
My Hero Macadamia Nut, like the fight scene with All Might where he punches the guy through the. It's like from the first season. I feel like that'd be fun.
Wait, is that the chicken guy?
Yeah, like chicken brain guy.
Yeah, I don't know what he's called. The chicken brain guy. Yeah, he looks like a chicken. I don't know. He's got like a beak or something. I don't know. I've seen him before. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, we'll do that.
I want to see the little rookie be
the little rookie be All Man. I'll be the freaking chicken. And then
the chicken doesn't like say anything. It's like some weird mutant creature.
Well, no, I'll make but for our dubs, he can say stuff. Doesn't matter. Even he doesn't say anything.
So with live dubbing, you don't read the actual lines. You're just kind of improvising.
No, it'd just be like completely making your own stuff. Like All Might could be like, "Oh, you ate my chicken nuggets, die," or something stupid like that's what I would think would be funny. I mean, we could also do like reading the same lines as well. I mean, I've seen some pretty funny Hunter x Hunter ones. There's the one. Dude, Hunter x Hunter would be so. I would definitely be Lario instantly. that would definitely be like the one I would want to be if I was really any character. Oh, that'd be so fun. All right, now I kind of want to do that. I'm gonna keep that in the back of my mind. That actually sounds so fun. I'm gonna have to call up. I feel like I don't know. I feel like it would also be more fun if we didn't pick our characters, but
yeah.
Like if we just randomize the characters or something.
And then whoever talked the loudest, the first character was that character.
Oh, I just meant like randomize. It'd be like, all right, we have like 4 characters, whatever, and then we just like spin a wheel, and it's like yeah, and then it's just like you have to go like whenever you see your character talk. We could do like a complete. I don't know. I have to figure it out because like would we do it if we did it blind? It would be like so bad. I feel like we would have to watch the clip a couple times and then be like, okay, here we go. Now let's get into it or something. Because I feel like if we just went into it blind, it would be like really hard to react.
I'm very I guess clean on this podcast, but I like if I'm actually improvising, I feel like I'm gonna try. I don't have to try to censor myself, but like I don't know. Maybe I'm afraid I might be like inappropriate or do something weird. I don't know.
I mean, if that happens, I would literally just I would just keep going and I just censor you. The thing is, like, I interact with people who
it'd be funny if I just like nonstop was cussing and then it was just nothing but bleeps every single time my character talked. Just cuss.
No, I wouldn't even cut it. I'd probably like to censor it in post, but I wouldn't say cut. Like the whole point would just to be like just keep going, just to like make more chaos and more madness. The more I talk about it, this actually sounds more and more fun. The little rookie was onto something. Hold on now.
Little rookie, smartest man alive.
Yeah, he is, dude. We're gonna have to invite him back on the freaking podcast and make him tell us all his great video ideas that we're gonna steal from him. Sounds like a great plan.
Last podcast, he was so smart. I mean, I think like he was so deep in thought on the last episode, like the last time he was on.
Yeah, my favorite part was when he didn't say anything for 45 minutes straight.
It's because he was deep in thought. He was waiting for the smartest time to respond.
He did have some pretty good comedic timing. I'll have to give him that. Otherwise, I was going to move on to another topic here that I have. And that is that I just have too much stuff. I have a lot of stuff. And I was kind of talking to you about this before the podcast began, where it's like, if I were to move, all my stuff would have to like come with me. And I have a lot of stuff, bro. And I'm kind of like starting to realize like how much stuff that I have that I feel like I can't throw away because it's like I feel like I'll need it for content, right? Because I have a lot of video games. Like in my room alone, I feel like I have 200 video game cases probably, whether it be from like different consoles and whatnot. But I also have stuff that I need to film with, like microphones, my PC, my monitors, my TV, my video game consoles. And then I also have, stuff that I need as a person, like clothes and whatnot. And I also just have a bunch of merch for video games and whatnot. Or I have like a bunch of books that I want to keep. And I have so much of the stuff that's just stuffed into my closet here. And I can't really display it or put it anywhere because I don't really have the room for it. And I'm kind of just realizing it's like, if I just keep buying more stuff, where am I going to put it? Right? I don't know.
Right. I mean, you kind of just talked about moving. Why couldn't you just use a U-Haul? I mean, I kind of know how much stuff you have. It could all fit in there.
Yeah. No, it's not so much of like just that, but it's just the fact that it's just like I have all this stuff, but it also keeps growing, right? Because like whenever I get a new game that's a physical copy, it adds more space. Whenever I get new merch, it adds more space. Like I just bought some Identity 5 merch. Like I bought like a plushie and a figurine, And like that's just gonna be more stuff that's just coming into my house that I'm just gonna have to store in my closet eventually because I have nowhere to display it because I don't have room for anything. I wish I had a studio, bro. If I had a Mr. Beast studio, bro, oh man, I'd have like a whole merch room. I would dedicate an entire room just to my merch, and I just like put up all my freaking video game stuff, all my just like so much stuff, bro. Like so much stuff is stored in my closet. I genuinely think I have like card boxes for Fire Emblem. I think I have like 30 unboxed or like still boxed Fire Emblem card things that I want to do like unboxing videos for, but I just have never gotten to it yet. And like that's only scratching the surface. Like I just have so much, man. I think I have like 8 boxes of unopened figurines. I have games that I haven't even touched that I just still own and I've never like I literally have like I think 7 or 8 Switch games that I've bought and have never touched. I'm just like, oh, I'll play it one day. And it's just kind of sitting in my room collecting dust right now. And it just kind of gets me thinking this like I'm just going to keep getting more and more stuff. And whenever I need to like ever move locations or whatever, it's just going to be more and more difficult to like have all this stuff. And it's like, where would I even put all the stuff that I would want to leave? Like, would I sell it? I don't know if I would want to sell it because I like having these games physically. I don't know. It's like, where do you put all this stuff that you have? And then at the same time, it's like, well, if I have all this stuff, shouldn't I just let go of some of it? I don't know. I don't really want to become a hoarder. My mom was kind of a hoarder. She used to have like just so much stuff in our house. Like our basement. You've seen my old house's basement, right? And I used to live with my family. And there was just so much junk down there, dude. There was just insane amounts of junk because it's an unfinished basement. It was just all storage, and it was just boxes on top of boxes on top of clothes on top of freaking old toys and random items. And it's like I don't want to get to a state where I'm just hoarding all this stuff and hardly using any of it, right? Because I feel like I'm a collector of like certain things, but at the same time, I don't want to become a hoarder at the same time. It's like, what things really have value if they're just sitting in my room or something? I don't know. It's just been what I've been thinking about recently, especially since I've moved my bed into my room, which I'm going to move it out into the living room eventually, but I have like no room in my room at all because my bed takes up everywhere like the floor is. So I'm probably going to move that in the living room, but it's like at this moment, I have like no room to put anything.
Yeah, I had a lot of things I was going to ask you. I mean, first off, having seen kind of your setup, I guess I don't know how much is actually in your closet. It really seems like there's more than meets the eye per se. And I was going to ask you about the bed because I haven't seen any like updates until you like mentioned it on the podcast. So you do have the bed actually fully set up now, right?
It's just the mattress. There's like the part that goes under it as well. But I haven't bothered moving that into my room specifically because I'm planning on moving it out into the living room after I rearrange some of the furniture. But there's also one for my sister in there as well, and she hasn't moved it at all. So I don't really know where I'm going to even put some of these things. It's all just about finding places and space for stuff, whereas I feel like I just don't have enough space for stuff, I guess. And then that brings up the question is like, if I were to move, and like even just like going down the line, like well, I imagine like 10 years from now, like I don't know where I'm gonna be 10 years from now. Where is all the stuff that's with me gonna be 10 years from now? I don't know. It's just been a random thought that I've been having like the past week, because I just like I keep getting like stuff, and I'm just like, where am I supposed to put all this?
Yeah, I used to have a lot of merch too, and I don't know. Over time, for me, it was I kind of stopped collecting it, and like through being in college and university, I moved from like 5 different places, and over time it just slowly like a lot of them kind of got lost per se. Either lost between the moves or somewhere in my parents' basement, or I don't even know. So I kind of get what you mean. I never got to that point though. I do know how much. I mean, I kind of have an idea how much merch you have. I think that you easily have room out in your living room to move a lot of that out there to display.
Yeah, the thing is we don't have any like shelves or anything to display it on. And also, the living room is completely full of mattresses.
Although, do you want to invest in the shelf? Because then it's another piece of furniture, right? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah, it's just where does it even go? And at the same time, I think like in 5-ish years, my parents are planning on like moving from the house that they're in. So it's like, where am I gonna put this stuff if I ever need to move? Like, where am I gonna like? What if I move into a place that's like small and I can't bring it all with me? I don't know. It's been on my mind a lot recently. And I've kind of considered like, what should I like potentially throw away or like sell? Because I don't really see anything at the moment where I would want to sell it. And at the same time, I do have some stuff that has a lot of sentimental value for me. For example, I have an entire cardboard box filled with my old drawings when I was a teenager. Like, so many of them. I actually want to do a video like where I looked at some of them sometime.
That would be an
like,
awesome
I don't want to throw that. I don't want to throw that stuff away. But it's like I can't carry that with me for like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Like where am I gonna store it all this time? Like would I just have to find a storage locker and pay for that like every single month? Like I don't want to do that. I don't know.
What I would do honestly is try to take the time to pull everything out of your closet or anything that you don't see like physically in front of you, and then analyze all those objects and like. Not like the whole like does it bring me joy, but like what is truly valuable to you? Like things like I'm sure you can actually truly once everything you visually see in front of you, you understand. Hey, what doesn't actually bring me value? It might be easier to start discarding some of that kind of stuff if it truly is becoming an issue. I mean, just from my perspective, it didn't seem like it was too excessive when I went to your place, but.
Yeah, no, it's not an issue now. It's more of like an issue that I'll be worried for in the future.
Right.
Of just because I don't want to become like an item hoarder, right? Although I feel like I get sentimentally attached to things too easily, and it's just like a worry I have like more for the future. Again, it's not a problem now, but it's like if I keep getting more stuff as the years go by, because literally a lot of the stuff that I've had, it's stuff that I've had ever since I was a kid, right? Like stuff that I've collected over the years, of like either limited things that aren't available anymore. Like special items that I got when a game came out, and it's like, oh, I have this. Like, I think I have like some Sun and Moon promo card for like Pokemon Sun and Moon when that came out. That was like 2017, and I think I have like when Pokemon Platinum came out. That was like, I don't know, I forget exactly when that came out. 2009, 2010, 11, I don't know, around that time. And I have like a statue from the game that came out. It's like a little Pokemon statue, and it's like that. You can only get that by pre-ordering the game. Like all the way back then. Like that's so cool. And it's like, there's thousands of other examples that I have, just little things that you either can't find anymore or are expensive on eBay.
Sell it.
And yeah, it's just like, another thing is just like, if I am not really getting much value out of it, would it be better in somebody else's hands? Like, should I just sell it?
It would be. And you could get money out of it,
Right, exactly.
Not the world's, but it's important to have money, right? And
another thing that
I think the solution, by the way, you said it earlier, and dude, it's really obvious. Just become a big enough YouTuber to get an entire studio like Mr. Beast, and you won't have any issue.
Okay, well, I mean, if that day comes, that'd be hype. However, I thought of another reason to like implement it into the content. What if I just did like giveaways? What if I started like a series that's just like giving this stuff away, and then at the same time, like I would have these items immortalized in a video, but I would be sending it to somebody who can enjoy it more. So somebody would get the item that I had, and it's like, oh, this is from the YouTuber. That's cool. That gives it like a piece of value, and it would also be like a cool item as well. But at the same time, there would also be a video where it's like, hey, let's talk about like the history of this certain item or like this set of items, and then we can give it away or something. I don't know. I feel like it would be like something interesting. It's just another thing that I thought of, because anytime I have an idea, it always seems to like coincide with content. I was actually literally talking to you about this before the podcast, where if somebody tells me something, like an idea or just any type of thing that you can do in life, it's like I'm 50% more likely to do it if you tell me I can make a video out of it. It's just, I don't know. With the life being a YouTuber, it's just always on the brain, I guess.
No, I completely understand. And oh geez, I had a point that I was gonna make and I just forgot completely.
We have you have another topic on here?
I do. One thing I was gonna ask you about, hey, is something that you've talked about multiple times on the show. Is that you're gonna do a Miraculous Ladybug video at some point? What are some updates on this video, and just how big is this video gonna be?
Right. So to remind, just to give like a little quick refresher, I guess this video that I'm making on Zeez G2 is a Miraculous Ladybug movie review. It is not like going into the TV show at all, because I haven't seen anything about the TV show. Now, I've learned some of the elements of the TV show just by like researching and whatnot. I feel like I had to do like that a little bit, but I want to keep this review like specific only to the going as like an entry point, because I want to talk about the show as well in the future. But I feel like having the movie as like a good starting point is going to be like the start of the journey, I guess. I don't know. I feel like it's like a good way to begin the journey of Miraculous and then like talk more on the seasons going on with it. But I plan to have this video released in December, and it's going to be probably like I want to say it's going to be the most packed video. I don't most detailed, highest production. I'm not sure. It's gonna be like big though. It's like a bigger type video. Whereas on Zeez PUBG 2, like the content is like, you know, it depending on what video it is, it could be like, you know, lower tier or higher tier. But this is gonna be like, you know, higher tier stuff because I'm doing a lot of writing. I'm doing like some bits as well. Doing like some little editing stuff. I mean, that goes into the videos with editing, but like I don't really like write too often, and I don't really like think about bits for certain scenes. And it's gonna be like a more comedic based construction of like the movie, where I feel like I'm not like super good at analyzing writing or anything, so I feel like combining the analysis with comedy is probably something that's more suited to my taste. And at the same time, there's a lot of people out there talking about Miraculous or just any show in general that are just, you know, do like topics that go into the writing, and I feel like I'm not one of those people, right? Or it's like I want to do that, but I feel like I want to find my own style of review, I guess. And I guess that's been the biggest thing that I've been trying to figure out with this this review here, is trying to like come up with a style that I could do for like future videos going forward. Especially if they're related to like bigger videos, like the Miraculous movie or any other like big project, like a movie that I would want to review that I have a lot of passion towards or have some sort of thing to say about it, like that one Alvin and the Chipmunks movie.
Yeah, what surprised me the most is you told me it was going to be potentially 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I'm surprised that you were able to get that much like content and things to say out of one movie. You know, that's impressive, and well, especially if it's not something you're used to.
It's not just like the movie. I'm also going to be like doing like little bits. And then there's also going to be like transitioning. Like I'm going to have like I plan to have like a kind of period at the end where I kind of come up with my own thoughts of like where I think the story is heading. Because apparently the movie is actually different. Well, I guess I don't know if I should spoil it or not. I'm not going to spoil it. But let's just say there's something that happens toward the end of the movie that doesn't happen in season 1 of Miraculous, because the movie is supposed to be the entirety of season 1, but all condensed into like one thing. So apparently it's like not accurate to some of the things in season 1, so I kind of want to like dive into that as well. But I also want to not watch season 1 at the same time, so it's a little bit tricky. I'm still, again, it's just trying to figure out the style of it as well. I don't know. I do hope that it will be a successful video though, because I've been thinking a lot about it, and I really hope that people are going to enjoy it when it finally comes out sometime in December, probably like December, I'm gonna say 15th. I don't know. We're just throwing it out there. December 15th, random number. Hopefully before Christmas.
Do you think it might be like slightly controversial? Like, okay, so the Miraculous Ladybug movie is not the beginning of the franchise. Do you think that since you're gonna make it very obvious that it's gonna be your introduction to the franchise, that people are gonna be upset at the fact like, oh, why did you start with a movie? Like, of course none of this is gonna make any sense.
I mean, I really can't say until I release it, right? Because I don't really know too much about what people think. I mean, there are some people who did start with the movie because there's a reason why the movie is a recap of season 1. It's to get more people into it. The movie also looks a lot better than the show. Like, I've seen some clips from the show. The movie looks so much better. There are some weird animation choices that they made. Like, some of the liquids in the movie look really bad. Like, genuinely so bad. I don't really know how to describe it, but they look awful. But in general, like, the character models and whatnot, they look so much better in the movie. And then, like, going from the show to the movie, it's like, ooh, you know. It's a Cocomelon. But no. I don't think there will be. Like, I think some people should be like, yeah, I watched the show. And I do plan to after the movie. But I want to provide, like, a unique perspective. Because I feel like most people talking about the movie will probably have already seen the show. Whereas this is going to be somewhat new. Where it's just like, I've only seen the movie. And nothing else. Besides, like, some clips and some text help from just like seeing what other people have said about certain things regarding the franchise.
Yeah, so when you move on to talking about the TV series, do you have any like plans on how you're going to change up the content? Like, for example, I feel like I brought this up multiple times to you. I'm obviously a huge fan of LS Mark's like every episode ever. What if you did like this is just me spitballing ideas to you. What if you did like a ranking every episode of Miraculous, Ladybug, and then dash season 1, right? So like it looks like it's like every episode, like the
yeah. That's kind of what the plan is, actually. Not necessarily like, you know, that style, because again, I'm trying to find my own style. But it would be
Bro,
Like,
don't worry about it. Copy people if it looks like not. Don't directly copy them, but be inspired by it. It's fine.
Well, no. The thing is, like, well, because I'm already working on trying to find the style that I want to go with. It's like, because I don't want to copy somebody, because then it's just like, at the same time, it's more fun to come up with my own style, right? It's not just like, if I copy somebody else.
Don't directly copy something if you're actually trying on a video, you know what I mean? Like, your personality is going to seep through anyways.
Right. Of course. But, you know, at the same time, I'm having fun trying to come up with, like, my own thing, you know? Anyways, but yeah, I would want to go in from the movie to season 1, then season 2, season 3, and like have like each thing in a season. That way I can like go through all like the notable episodes and notable parts from each episode. Talk about like the story and character progression, what I think about it, whatnot. And I think it'd be like a nice journey to go from season to season, and then potentially in the middle of said videos, I could have like bonus videos where I do like a Miraculous Ladybug Kahoot, Miraculous Ladybug Hunger Games, if I really want to do that kind of stuff again. I don't know. It's just a thought, right? If I keep up like the same trends that I did with Owl House and Amphibia for like the side content that isn't like just episodic or like story reviews of said seasons / episodes.
All right. Unrelated totally to Miraculous Ladybug, but before you upload your review of the movie, what is other in between videos you have between then and December, or now in December?
For Zeez OG2 specifically, I'm actually going to try and finish that freaking Owl House Kahoot video, which I still have barely worked on it.
Seriously, you are finally?
Dude, I literally, it's just like, I'm so dried up. It's like, I try and go back and work on it, I can't think of anything. It's like staring at a wall, and it's just like, be funny, come up with an idea, and I can't think of anything. Because I did have like a whole like final story arc that I wanted to do, and then I just was like, that's honestly going to be too much work, and like nobody's even going to watch it, so I just didn't do it. But I do have some, just like, I do want to make a video on Big City Greens, because there was an episode that came out that I actually really want to talk about. So there will be an episode review on that, probably coming, maybe this week? Yeah, probably this week. And I also wanted to talk about Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, because I feel like that show doesn't get enough traction, even though it was really, really good. Like, season 1 was so good. So I'll probably have like a short...
I actually don't know at all what you're talking about. I need to look this up.
You haven't? Oh, okay, never heard it? Okay, so it's like a... I don't know how to describe it, but I was really worried to get into it at first because it was like a Marvel show. And I was like, I don't know. I don't really like Marvel that much. But it basically, it's I'd say like there's maybe 0.01% to do with Marvel. Like the only thing that they have about Marvel is that they just like mention some superhero names a couple times throughout the show. Otherwise, it's like its complete own thing. And it's actually so enjoyable. The style of the show is so fun. The characters are great. The animation is so good. Stylized. Yeah, it's extremely stylized. And there's like a song every single video. And the issue with it is like, I don't really know how to say this, but it really hones into like the culture that I am not from, I guess. And it really hones into like certain cultures. Sure. But no, I'm Caucasian. I'm Caucasian, so it's like I feel like it's going to be hard for me to talk about certain things that come from, the show. Where I find it to be extremely fascinating. However, I don't feel like I should be the person to, discuss these things as. I'm Caucasian, so I guess I'll just leave it at that. However,
I don't think that's true. I mean, as long as you're like coming in and preaching about like, hey, what does it mean for this culture? If you're just kind of just talking about how it makes you feel, that's not inherently wrong at all.
No, right. I think the thing is more just like I don't really know how I'd go about discussing it without like, because I wanted to talk about it like a little bit in depth, but I was like, I probably shouldn't. I don't know. I do find it fascinating. I probably have to like rewatch it just to like see it again, because I kind of like just watched the entire show all in like one sitting. And because I just thought it was so good. So I'll probably like rewatch it and then like actually finalize my thoughts on it. So
is this also a comic?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was originally a comic or something.
I'm looking at some cover art. The cover art looks freaking awesome.
Yeah. No, it's a
like
good show.
It's not like the style of the show. It's like pastel-y and like detailed and like really intimate looking. It's really cool.
Yeah, and the show has a really beautiful style as well. It also has a great villain as well. There's a really cool villain in the show as well. He hasn't really done anything too much yet, but I love the villain from that show.
What do you like about him?
He breaks the fourth wall constantly. He's basically like a insanely powerful.
Sometimes it can be a little annoying.
No, it's usually in a good way. He basically Okay, I guess like kind of spoil it a little bit. I think there's like 13 episodes in season 1 or something. I don't know. There's like around that. But he, in the first 6 episodes, he is the narrator, right? You don't even know he's a character. He's just the narrator from the show. But then in episode 7, the narrator is like, turns out he's an actual character, and he's been watching the main character all along because she's super smart, and he's like a super powerful alien that like is basically broken, unbeatable. But he has like all these powers. He can like kill all of humans like instantly if he really wanted to. But it's more like he's like a trickster, kind of like a prankster, playing games and like testing the main character out and being like, oh, you will be the surrogate for humanity or whatever. It's like whatever you can do, then these people can do too, or something like that. It's interesting, and he seems very fascinating. But he's also like one of those characters that like he's just so powerful, but he's also bored. So he's just looking for like ways to entertain himself. But it's definitely like setting him up to be a villain in the future, which I find to be really, really cool. So yeah, there's a lot more to say about him. I don't really want to go into like spoiler territory. There's actually one specific episode that's like really, really good, but it's like really spoilers, so I won't get into it.
Video, bro. Quit talking about it.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. He's a good villain.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna go on a rant.
Afraid about copying people.
Yeah.
Has the PNG tuber covered the series?
Yes.
Bro, yes. You can't cover it. Oh my god.
He's actually covered it like 4 different times. You don't remember Moon Girl and Devil Democrat?
No, the random thing I totally forgot about, I did remember. I know that we're way off the topic. Do you want me to bring it up?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. This was back when we were talking about the too much stuff that I had. And like ideas to get rid of it or sell it or whatever?
Okay, a lot of the time when I have like too much stuff, one of my issues is I run out of memory all the time, like either on my phone or like I have it all the time with Google Photos. Basically, I run out of memory with my stuff. And what I've done, I don't know if this, of course, this is literally just digital media, so not exactly the same, but maybe it applies to you. You know, I just compile all that footage together and I post it on my YouTube channel unlisted, right? So I still have all that, like all those memories and clips, but I get to take away all the storage. Now, what it relates to you is like, hey, here's a thing that I'm really nostalgic about, but I don't necessarily need it anymore. What if I just make a little video and put it on my YouTube channel? It could be private or whatever, and it just kind of goes over my history with like of this like toy or object and what it means to me, and then like, if you ever want to reference or remember it, then you can go back to it, right? You have like an archive or like a thing that is on there that you can reference whenever to access those emotions and feelings.
It's
right?
funny you say that because I have an archive channel.
You do? Is there videos of your personal stuff on there?
I mean, there are some videos that I've made on that channel that are like, I don't know how to word it, but they're like extremely personal. Extremely personal in the fact that like nobody but me would be interested in them, right? If you look on the archive channel, which I don't even know how I have linked, my channels aren't linked all together, but on the archive channel, there is some videos on there, like Dragon Quest ones, that like are very specifically centered around stuff that I would be interested in watching. There's like some boss battles that I added in custom music with, and I cut out all like the wait times in it. And those are like little videos that I find to be so fascinating because back when I was younger, I would consume content just like that, right? That had like the custom music, cool boss fights, using really cool animations and costumes from the game. And that's what I was doing. I have a few more of those that I want to like upload. And that's what I could put on the archive channel. So you're right. Like if I had like an item that I would want to remember that's like from my childhood, I would, could make a short video on it and then either sell it or get rid of it or something. And I could always have the momentum of the video to look back on it until, an earthquake hits YouTube's freaking headquarters and then they lose all their memory.
Yeah, by the way, the only way I think you can access your archive channel is unless you search it, is if I think it's linked only on your Zeez Identity 5 channel. So Zeez.
Yeah, I think it is. Well, I mean, I can find it anywhere because like it's always I literally own the channel. So
no way.
The whole point is like it doesn't really. It's an archive channel. It doesn't really matter. Honestly, I feel like I'll probably only link the archive channel from 3, I guess, and Identity 5. I don't know why it's not linked on 3.
3 makes sense because it's like your personal thing.
Yeah. The thing is, like, people don't really need to know about the channel. The channel is more just like for me, and like if anybody stumbles across these videos, they can like use the game footage or whatever that I provide. Like that's all it really is. It's more of just like a personal project kind of thing that I just like having in the background, as opposed to, let's make this all about epic YouTube algorithm moment. Yippee!
Yeah.
Although at the
dude,
same time, I feel like there could be some items that I have like stories behind that I could make like a ZZG3 video about, or if I did like multiple items, I think it'd be kind of cool. You know, I would definitely like to make something like that for sure. I'd have to like see what I would have in my closet to specifically make it around though. We'll see.
Right. You know, obviously I'm a huge fan of like personal content, so I'd love to see stuff like that coming from you. And then, in addition, this is totally actually kind of unrelated to that. One thing I did just notice is you actually have your Identity 5 channel linked on other channels now, finally.
Not all of them. I started doing it and then I didn't finish it. I don't know why I didn't.
It's linked on 2. Like I went from 2 to 2.
It's linked on 2, yeah.
What about 3 here?
I think it's only linked on a few of them.
Nope. Only on 2 so far.
Oh,
Man,
it's linked on the Fire channel. It's linked on the Fire channel, bro.
You can put it on 3 before this video uploads. So we talk about much about that channel on this channel here, and
it's
everyone
not even linked.
was ever curious how they can't ever find it, or it's gonna be hard for them to.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
I just realized your V channel is now your officially your second most subscribed channel.
I was just about to mention that. Yeah, and it's funny how I literally just started it like a month ago.
Well, here's to many more, and hopefully 10K by. Do you think you can reach 10K by the end of the year?
No, I don't think so.
Oh yeah, we were talking about it plateauing at 5 probably. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely not 10K by the end of the year. But I think like I'm gonna say by 2025, if I like upload semi consistently on it, I could probably get like 20K. Yeah, probably.
Wow. Okay.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have for this week. Bit of a shorter episode. Sometimes we go up to like 2 hours, but I think this is pretty good length. We tried the cold opening. We had some fun topics. I think it was a successful podcast. What do you think?
It sucked. We shouldn't have opened with the roller coaster stuff because no one cares about it. I'm joking. No, I totally agree. I did. It was obviously the first time trying the cold opening. I think like one of the better ways we could do it, right,
is jump immediately into like a topic.
Well, yeah, if we actually had a topic, so like we'd already be talking about it, and then like you could choose like in the audio, like just listening to the first like 30 seconds, right, when we started talking about what's the best time to slowly fade into the podcast, right? They'll be like, oh, like it doesn't. Maybe if you like the first couple opening comments, it's like first interesting point, immediate pick up your attention. It's like,
right.
Well,
okay,
here's my point.
We're starting the next podcast with, hey, look, it's John Pork. It's me showing everybody a picture of John.
Little Rookie sucks. Okay, so.
And he just goes. Just makes weird noises the whole time. Anyway, I think that'll be it for today. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I do appreciate it as always. And thanks to RaceCar67 for joining me. Always fun to have you on, pal. Anything you want to say before we close off?
Keep riding coasters and stop being afraid of them because they're cool. All right, that's pretty much it.
All right, hype. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully on Wednesday. Thanks for watching once again. Have yourselves a great rest of your day. Bye.
Bye, guys.